everyone. How is it going? Sorry it's late. God damn it. Basically, as soon as I started up my computer this morning, it's like, ooh, can I do an update, please? And I'm like, no. It's never a good time. It's never a good time for my computer to be like, can I do an update now, please? And I was like, no. And I've been telling it no for weeks. Because the problem is, when my computer does a full update, it bricks it. There's some feature update. I don't know what. There's some feature update it does that once I allow it to update, it will brick the computer and I have to like force restart and roll back the update. I have to do this every time. So every time it's like, ooh, can I do an update? I'm like, no, go away. And then it drew the line. And it was like, no, I'm updating now. I'm like, no, don't. Because no, you keep telling me no, and I'm going to do it now. You're not the boss of me, I am. So I was like, oh man. So it just started updating. And I tried to force it to stop. And I kind of stopped it, and I was able to start the computer again, and then it was like, ooh, can I do an update? I'm like, all right, fine, do your update. I'm just going to roll it back anyway. So that's what I spent this afternoon doing. I had to wait for it to spend about an hour to update, and then maybe another half hour to roll back the update. So this is my life. This is this computer now. I mean, I know what I need to do. I know I need to basically back everything up and do like a hard reset and then a full proper update, and then it should be fine. It's obviously like tripping on trying to update something that isn't there, or it's glitched or whatever, and it's just like resulted in my whole computer bricking. So I just have to I just have to live with this. So, but the problem is like it's never a good time to back up my computer either, because that takes time. I've got to like get a hard drive and back up my files, and I have a lot of files, so it's going to take a while for it to back up, and I don't want to have to reinstall all my software as well. It's going to be such a pain in the urethra, so I don't want to do it. So I don't. And so this is the situation I'm in, where every month my computer will fight me for control over updates that it wants to do, but I don't want it to do. But guys, how are you doing? You all want to touch my beard? No, keep away. Keep your COVIDy hands off my beard. It's a sanctuary. Bushy AU, appropriately, thank you for the follow. Also, Mo, thank you for the sub as well. Punch the computer, says Okian. Are you a professional technician? Because that doesn't sound like a thing I should do. But, I mean, as you know, I've had constant troubles with this computer with its RAM. I mean, the RAM is maxed out now. And the internet, which is also now close to maxed out. So, like, I've done everything I can. It's just now I'm fighting the actual computer itself, which is great. It's just constant pushback. No one wants me to stream. No one in this environment wants me to stream. So, but Mo just woke up from a nap. Wakey, hands off Snakey. But what else have we got? Lots of people just surprised it's me. Lots of people going, Eddie. Hi, Eddie. So, yes, it's me. It's my stream. Hello and welcome. What's it like being in a Let Me Explain Studios video? Yeah, it was great. Rebecca just reached out to me and just said, I have this character and you're the only person I imagine voicing it, so would you voice it? And I said, yes, of course. I'm more than happy to do anything for Rebecca. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole story. She just reached out to me. I said yes. I recorded the line, sent it back, and there I am. So I'm in the thing, and I'd do it again. I'm crazy like that. I'll do it again. No, it's great. I'm always happy to for like fellow creative friends. I'm more than happy to record lines and cameo appearances and stuff. I'd love to ramp that up this year. I'd love to be able to cameo and guest and collab and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd be thrilled to. It's something I want to do more of this year. Not just like stuff for me, but stuff for them. You know, I've only done. Ooh, I'm gonna belch. I'm gonna belch right now. There we go. I belched. Anyway, so I've only done a couple of collabs so far. But I'll be up for more. Joel says, my dad works for computers, and he says, stop streaming. It's time for 5 updates. And Cal Tabiner says, how was the parody movie? So, for those who don't know, I have watched over 60 spoof movies this month. Well, no, not this month. This is March. In February, I watched 60 spoof movies. And it's definitely had its ups and downs. Right now, I'm going through the rigorous process of trying to funnel this overwhelming amount of information into a clear script. And the way I do scripts is that, Zadubi, the first thing I open this stream, the first thing I hear is belching. Lovely. You're welcome. So the way I write scripts for Headache is that once I've done the research phase and I've gathered my notes and materials and stuff, the first thing I do when I'm actually scripting is I just kind of lay down bare the basic information, right? It's like the dull information just in a row, right? Then I would go through it again and I would just like prune the script. So I like trim the fat and I clean up lines of dialogue and I also like, I'm constantly checking sources as I go along anyway. So if anything new or anything incorrect, I will adjust accordingly and stuff. But then, like, the final pass of the script is to add jokes. I mean, sometimes I'll add jokes on the fly because they just sort of come naturally. But one of the last steps I need to do is add jokes. So because I want this video, because it's about spoof movies, to also in of itself feel a bit spoofy, that's like a whole other process of scripting. And so this is a mammoth script. I'm not joking, you guys. This script is going to be something like, I think this video is probably going to be about an hour long minimum. It's going to be huge. Because I just want this to be the most complete, all-encompassing video. I could split it in parts, but I don't want to. I want it to be one behemoth video that I can be just like super proud of. This is the most concise video on spoof movies ever made. Because no one else will dare do what I did. As Wee Goalie points out, lack a hobby and watch 60 spoof movies. So, there we go. Njordford says, is the rebranding of Dark Squid still happening? And will that mean you get a more active role in content production for the channel? I mean, yes, it is still going ahead. I mean, I'm not really here to answer questions about Dark Squid, but yeah, it is still going ahead. We are like talking about what projects we're going to come back with. I'm very much a part of it still. So stuff is happening. Stuff will be happening. Maybe even like kicking off as of this week, really. I don't know when that's actually going to hit the channel because we're going to do like making stuff kind of in bulk ahead of time and then have time to edit it before we then begin to roll it out. So we get like a bit of a head start on ourselves. The stuff with content was always kind of on the fly. It was always filmed like the week prior. We rarely like we tried to, but we never really stuck to filming like multiple contents in a row rather than just one content a week. We tried to get to a point where we could film 2 contents in the same session, so we at least have a couple in the bag. But that's what we're now trying to do. We're going to try and film more in the bag. We're going to fill our bags. We're going to fill up a bag with content. Well, it's not called content, it'll be something else, but we're going to fill a bag with stuff and then we're going to stuff it on your screen, and that's the plan for Dark Squid. But yes, it's High Restrom says that this is my hobby. Like, yeah, comedy is my whole thing. So like watching comedy, writing comedy, I love it. It is my hobby. So yeah, and also there's like a challenge aspect, right? Hello, Boy J Game and Dainty Walrus. It's part of a challenge, right? Like where I'm given like a stupidly mammoth project and I sink my teeth into it, and it's a mix of like endurance, but also like it's genuinely fascinating. Like I don't think I could consume movies like, let's have a selection here, the 41-year-old virgin who knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it, nor could I watch something like Disaster Movie, were it not for the fact that I was analysing it critically, picking it apart, finding the common elements across the movies and the way the genre has changed and evolved. That's what this video is going to be about. So, and I just find that entire process really, really fascinating. And I think in turn, it's making me a better writer because I'm learning and growing as I go. That's the idea. That's the plan, at least. Can't see the join the Discord. I thumbs up reacted. No access to the channels. Do I have to be authorized? The one DJW, what you need to do is on the Discord, you need to go to the how to join section and it will instruct you there on how you actually access the rest of the channels. But welcome to our Discord. Headache's epic parody movie parody. You're right. I mean, you're not wrong, Astrius. I ought to call it something in the same vein as epic movie, disaster movie. It's got to be like spoof movie video or something like that. Okay, I'll play the presentation game with Tom. No, we attempted. I mean, trying to do anything remotely like that, anyways, isn't the best. Plus, there's the Jackbox game for it now, so like that's kind of the best way to get your feel for it. But no, I think we're kind of moving away until we can be back in the room together again, properly. I think a lot is basically going to be like on hold until yeah. So we're just trying to adapt to new content, new shows that would fit on the channel. What's happening? I can hear talking. Is somebody talking? Hello? No. Okay, I guess not. Hopefully they're not talking to me. Hopefully there's no one breaking into my house and politely chatting outside my door. But anyway, how's my lockdown going? I think all things considered, I'm alright. I know, obviously, I'm in a fortunate position because I can work from home. I can continue to do my job. I have family around me. Well, I have my immediate, I have my wife and I have my son. I don't have, anyone else of my family near me. They're all quite far away and I haven't been able to see them in a long time. But, that sucks. But, I still do have people around me. I'm still able to talk to people, pretty much every day on Discord, like video chats, and Patreon hangouts and stuff like that. So there's been a lot that I've been able to get by with. So I'm doing okay. I know others have definitely struggled, but fortunately for me, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. I think I've adapted just fine to all this. It's just a case of just waiting out. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to go out. I'd love to see my friends. I'd love to do things. I'd love to not be so stuck between. It's more the option has been removed to go anywhere. I would like that option back, please, especially to go, be able to see friends and family and, God, go to the pub. Do you remember going to the pub? Do you remember just sitting down, having a pint with friends? God, that's painful. So, anyway, but other than that, I'm doing just fine. So then there was, what's this? All that is glitter does not. All that is gold does not glitter. All those who wander are lost. Okay, there seems to be a long, wordy thing. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I shall leave that just sitting there. Big Potato Boy 69. Have you ever forgiven Tom for calling your work shit for the first time you met him? No, he wasn't wrong. It was shit. It was bad, but it was me figuring myself out, right? It was me trying to find my comedy voice, and I just hadn't at the time. So a lot of what I was doing was aping other people's styles and trying hard. So a lot of my earlier work, especially at that time, was me just being kind of try hard edgelord, doing rude jokes for the sake of it, and there's nothing clever behind it, no commentary or subversion. I'm not doing anything new. I'm just copying and pasting other people's jokes and stuff. So yeah, so I mean, it did suck. I I was leaning more on edge and shock rather than any actual substance. And Tom wasn't wrong; it did suck. But you don't tell someone that, and you certainly don't tell them behind their back with a hyperlink that allowed me to then find the referral and find where it was. Yeah. Don't pull a horror movie on us, please. What does that mean, Okian? Don't pull a horror movie on us? As in, do a video about horror movies? I don't like horror movies, so that probably won't happen. Is Airplane a spoof movie? Yes. Yes, Airplane is probably the ultimate spoof movie. I dare say it's probably the one of like the keystone definitive spoof movies. I mean, obviously I'll go into this in the video, but there had been spoof movies building up to it. You know, the most notable being Mel Brooks, but and to an extent Monty Python. But it's like, yeah, when it really hits its stride after Airplane. Didn't you like? Oh, the noises. Okian was talking about the noises. Yeah, I don't know. I think my wife's having a conversation on the phone or something. I can hear her, but because I'm wearing headphones, it's sort of semi noise cancelling. So I'm like, huh, where's that coming from? You know. So, but does the porno that was filmed on the set of Cyberpunk count as a spoof? You know what? It does, because it's a spoof of Call of Duty called Cock of Duty. And so yes, so porn parodies do count. I do want to make mention of porn parodies in some context. I'm yet to find. The problem is, I have tried to search what is just like the most popular one, right? What's the most rented from Blockbuster? What is the most popular porn parody? And there is just no, at least none that I could find, and I do not encourage you to search, but none that I could find that just says, look, here's the definitive list of the most popular spoof movies. Like I have seen the different articles of like, you know, here's a bunch of them, but they're not in any like order of like fame or popularity. You know, like if you think in terms of like popular porns, you know, there's Debbie Does Dallas, Deep Throat. You know, these are the famous porn movies. But that's what I'm trying to find an equivalent for in porn parody. The closest I found is Flesh Gordon from the 1960s, but it's, even to me, that's still not quite right. Yeah, it's not quite. I want those porn parodies that I used to see in a Blockbuster video in the late 90s, 2000s. Yeah. That's what I want to see. I mean, ideally it'd be lively. It'd be great if I could see some kind of like Blockbuster video all-time most rented movies, and then just find the porn parodies on that list. But no such list seems to actually exist, which is a shame. We Goldie, have you seen Blazing Saddles? I don't think I have. I think I'm trying to remember if I ever saw it before, because I mean the movies I've included in my watch list were it was Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, and Men in Tights. Although I am now adding Get Smart, which is Mel Brooks's sort of spy parody TV series, which ran for 5 seasons. And it was then remade as a Steve Carell movie, I think, some years ago now. But it's the original TV series I'm interested in. So I will be visiting that. I've got a DVD of that on its way. Loki. Hi, Loki. Is this the most non-safe for work thing you've done for work that is in roundabout way safe for work? What, the porn parody stuff? I suppose so. I mean, the spoof movies themselves are not shy about showing a lot of nudity. Like one of the movies I watched, which is some Kentucky Fried Movie, has like a whole bit which is meant to be like a joke commercial, but it's pretty much softcore porn. And then there's like another scene where a couple are having sex, and it's not like subtle or anything. It's like they're practically having sex. They're fully nude. You're seeing everything. And it's like, oh, this is just porn. They made a movie, but it's porn. Yeah. So, and it's not a good movie either. So censoring stuff is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to do a lot of like superimposing probably my head onto boobies and bottoms and other dangly bits. So yeah, that's going to be a thing. Jenny Shante, which parody was the worst? Now, so there are some downright bad parodies for differing reasons. Disaster Movie and Meet the Spartans is a lot of just noise. There's like no joke. There's not even really an attempt to tell anything smart. It is just noise of here's a reference, here's another pop culture reference. And there's a lot of moments in those films that demonstrate that they just straight up don't know how to tell a joke. Because I continued to watch, so those are both directed by Freeberg and Seltzer. And they are the infamous duo who made all those like blank movies, excluding Scary Movie. So they did that, but they started doing the whole mega movie mashup thing, and it never worked. And they had subsequently, because I watched also what they did afterwards, and they started going back to like focusing on like one movie. So like Vampire Sucks is specifically Twilight, and Superfast is specifically Fast and Furious. So they at least drifted away from doing those multi-mashup movies, but those are really, really bad for particular reasons. The 41-Year-Old Virgin, the one I held up, is also incredibly bad for like extremely problematic reasons. Like at one point, I mean, I'm going to try and avoid certain terminology here, but at one point, let's just say at one point, a girl was about to have sex with a guy, but another guy has sex with her instead. That's a big no. That's a big old red flag waving right there. And it's played for laughs. It's played for comedy. And it's like, no. Then there was another bit where a heavily pregnant woman is having sex with a guy, and the baby reaches out to grab his dick and put it inside. No, just so fucking bad. That repulsed me. Then in so those are really bad. Airplane Mode has a lot of like, so that's the Logan Paul movie. That has a lot of extremely trashy stuff in there and casual racism. They're going for like that South Park Family Guy edgy humor, but again, without like substance or thought put behind it. It's just for shock, and it's just bad. I think legitimately though, one of the worst ones I ever saw. I mean, those are bad for very particular reasons, but the worst one, the most like I guess the least enjoyment, like even those other ones, it's almost like almost like a car crash. You're like watching it in despair of like this morbid curiosity of like, oh god, this is so bad, what are they gonna do next? Oh my god, that's so bad. Kex and his beard. Kexes and his beard, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. So those are all bad, but you could still watch them just for the disaster factor of them. But there was a movie called, I know we brought it up in this stream before, which is Avengers of Justice Farce Wars or something like that. That is one of the most boring spoof movies I have ever seen. It's incredibly low budget, and it is like, you know, the acting is bad, the writing is bad, the special effects are bad. Like, I could forgive low budget and crummy special effects. I can easily forgive that. But it was just the fact that like it was boring. Scenes would drag on. There was a lot of weight put behind this Yoda character who is not funny, and it became one of the most, that tested the endurance element, right? That was us sitting there trying to get through this movie that is so boring. And so I would say that Avengers of Justice is the worst one we had to watch. I mean, a lot are really bad for particular reasons, but that one was just like, there was no enjoyment in watching that movie. None at all. It was just boring. Kex's and his beard. Glad to finally catch you. I've been watching your videos, and you are by far my favourite part of Dark Squidge. Hope you and your family are doing great. Regards from Finland, where Longcat lives, according to you. Oh, did I say that he lives in Finland? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Drinky. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying my stuff, and also my stuff on other stuff. So thank you. So our TikTok and Instagram's comedies, yes, to an extent. I mean, I'm not including them because they're not a movie. Although I feel like I do need to sort of mention stuff like Newgrounds and the parodies they would make on there, and YouTube in general when that started to spring up. Because like meme culture begins to creep in towards the end of the spoof movie era. It doesn't play that heavy a part. But I mean, in both cases, it was Leave Britney Alone. And I think a couple of other memes, but like not really often internet memes have appeared in movies that in the sheer number of them that I watched. Hazel from, are there one movie spoofs better than their multi-movie spoofs? Okay. Are the multi-movie spoofs better than the multi-movie spoofs, or are they still shit? It's entirely dependent. So sometimes the multi-movie spoof could really just be the genre spoof, right? So it will take the broad strokes of a genre, pick and pluck certain elements from each, and represent them in a really funny way. Because even like the one movie spoof can still be shit because it depends on the movie in question. So for example, Airplane is a movie spoof because there's a movie called 0 Hour, which is so Airplane's a remake of that movie except with jokes. But something like Naked Gun is kind of more like, it's more like a general trope of like the detective genre, right? So it's not one thing, it's just picking and choosing different elements from different shows. But something like Austin Powers is probably, you could argue that's a multi-movie spoof because it's got James Bond elements for sure, but then it starts drawing in elements from like Star Trek or like sci-fi elements. It has characters from different kind of genres, but like it's sort of worked together. There's like the fembots with the guns in their boobs. That's a parody of hey Joel, thank you for your bits. That is a reference to something called to Barbarella. So it is able to sort of like pluck elements and then dress them together better. The problem with the multi-movie thing is that they tend to try and like grab an ensemble of plots and stories and then force them together, and that I have never seen work. Out of all the movies I watched, I have never seen that work. Sometimes when they do the one spoof movie or the one movie spoof, it becomes like, if that movie is popular in and of itself, then that kind of makes the spoof harder to watch because you're constantly remembering the other thing. It's almost better if they were to take, let's say, a movie that didn't do very well and then remake it as a spoof, like 0 Hour, honestly. So like if I'm watching Vampire Sucks, I am constantly thinking of Twilight. If I'm watching I'm trying to think of another single movie spoof I can't remember off the top of my head, but like even like, okay, so superhero movie, is it there? That's a kind of multi-movie one because it's mashing together Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four. Like, weirdly, this came out the same year as Iron Man. This came out too soon, right? This happened before the MCU happened. And it's like, oh, you just missed the boat. But This movie succeeds better when it's more leaning on the Spider-Man stuff. The whole X-Men bit you could cut out and it would work just fine. The Fantastic Four are mere like cameos. They just pop up for a gag then go away again. It's really just one movie, and like I don't hate that movie. I don't hate superhero movie. That one's all right by me because it's more leaning on one movie than trying to mash several together. It's a fair question, and I want to draw a conclusion like that in the video too, so I will explain myself better. And Okion has seen multiple car crashes before. I'm sorry, I don't know whether that's a car crashes in a disastrous movie or actual car crashes, but both are bad. One worse than the other, so I'm sorry. And Joel with his bits, or their bits, sorry, says that shark movie spoof, every spoof movie went. God, no. So what you're saying is you found all the movies from the weirdest movie posters in the world content and watched them all. Not really, but like a lot of them. Yeah. So anyway. Also, actually, in the reference to the content, there's the cut tent of that where I mentioned a haunted house, and that there is a character who is a gay predator. Now, having seen a haunted house, I can actually say that movie's actually really good. I feel like I was unfairly judgmental of it before when I made that content. The gay predator element is still present, and that isn't good. But now that I've seen the film as a whole, I genuinely enjoy the film. It has, problem elements, sure, but a haunted house, I really enjoyed it. I'm surprised. It was like the Wayans brothers, but without the extreme like cartoonish nature of it. They played it mellow, and it works. It works really well, and they save the kind of the bigger overacting reaction stuff for the spooky goings on. So yeah, a haunted house was a surprising delight. But now I'm gonna call upon your guys' help for this next section. So there is a series. So before The Naked Gun 1, 2, and 3, before they came out, it was originally a TV series called Police Squad. Police Squad is an incredible show. I love Police Squad. But it was cancelled after 6 episodes. And that is one of the greatest like TV show tragedies ever. It was like after the 4th episode was aired, it was cancelled. And so the other 2 got aired eventually, but like they cancelled a show after 4 episodes, and that sucks. That super duper sucks. The show was so good, pure spoof, and really could have gone far. It could have done what The Simpsons would eventually do, which would be this big kind of cultural subversion thing. There was so much they could have done, but it got unnecessarily cancelled ahead of time. But the reason it got cancelled, the president of the network at the time said that so the reason they gave was you have to watch it in order to appreciate it, right? So even though that's wrong, you can just jump to any one episode and watch it. It's funny in its own right. But they tried to claim that you have to watch a TV series in order to like it, right? Or to get it, right? And that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I think a lot of TV requires you. In fact, as I said, that's a comedy, and so each episode is standalone. There are elements that carry across, sure, but like they're not overarching stuff. But there's a ton of TV, right, that requires you to watch them in order, right? So I want to ask you guys a question. And that question is, what TV do you need to watch in order to appreciate it? By which I mean, you have to watch them in subsequent release order to enjoy it more. Now, I'm sure that there's a ton of TV that requires you to that like you can just jump into any one episode and enjoy it, and that's fine. But it's more that which ones require, which ones are better enjoyed if you watch them in subsequent order. Now, what I'm after, I see you're putting in. Let's see. I'm seeing mention of Star Trek, Big Mouth, Firefly, WandaVision, Mentalist, Fringe. What I'm actually after is genre. All right. Can you give me I want a list of genres, types of TV shows that require you to watch them in order. No, it's not require. It's just that you need to watch it in order to appreciate it. So mystery. All right. Mystery. Is there another name for mystery? Like murder mystery, are we thinking? Murder mystery? Or, I mean, really, are murder mysteries... actually, maybe I'm wrong. Are murder mysteries... because they're self-contained, right? Every episode is self-contained. Right? Every mystery is brought up and resolved within the same episode. Is that something you have to watch in order? Soaps. Excellent example. Soap operas. Soap operas is a brilliant example. Scrolling up. So content. BoJack Horseman, The End of the Fucking World, and Astro Movie. No, those are individual things. I want genre. Content, no. But soap opera is an excellent example. But like, yeah, there's got to be something in mystery, right? Because there are shows that have like a mystery take over the entire arc of the show, right? Crime TV shows do sort of an underlying plot. Yeah, so like when I watched Alton Carbon season 1, that has like a plot across the entire series, not just the one episode. So yeah, I guess mystery. You don't say mystery show, do you? What would you say? Like reality TV? Yes, I will. Reality TV. That's a good example. So story-centric sci-fi, like Firefly or The Expanse. I guess every sci-fi show, right? I don't know of a sci-fi show that doesn't build up upon itself. Because it's all like, yeah, as you say, like world building and stuff. So sci-fi, drama. Drama does build up across episodes. So drama, what else we got? Surreal Annie-combs, like Family Guy. I guess not really. I think a lot of like The Simpsons and Family Guy, because they're animated, they can just return to the status quo. Nobody ages, nobody changes. World building, that's extremely broad. Documentary. Yeah. Not really. I guess it depends on the sort of documentary, right? Like, crime would fit under that, but I don't know if like nature documentaries wouldn't fit that, Bill, because you don't have to watch nature in order. But if it's like a murder, a crime documentary, I guess, yeah, I think I'll put documentaries, because it can. Documentaries. What else we got? Call them crime genres or police investigation genres. Yeah. Crime. Yeah, there's something in crime. I haven't found the right term for it yet. I'm going to scroll down. Space or medieval opera, like Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones, that's a good one. I guess that's fantasy. Even that sounds very broad. Fantasy. Yeah, what's the word? Fantasy stories. I'm not. I thought Fantary. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sold on that word in either. I'm gonna put crime mystery down as well. But like, I'm pretty sure we need something else, another term for it. Doctor Who can be watched out of order. Yeah, I'm not after individual things. Sports. yeah, I guess you have to watch sports in order because it's like each team's getting better and stuff. I guess. I don't really ask the question. Ask Absolute Human. So I'm after what genre of TV do you need to watch in order to appreciate it? So I guess I need to put like a comma. Like here. So watch in another in order in subsequent in God, what's another term? I've forgotten words. What do you need to watch in order? But I don't mean like in order to do this. It's just mean you watch them in order, like in a row. Chronological. Thank you, chronological. There you go. Watch. Here we go. Chronologically to appreciate it. There we go. What TV shows do you need to watch chronologically in order to appreciate it? All right. So, it's not a genre, but any tournament arcs. I guess that's sports, right? I think that will come under sports. High fantasy. High fantasy. There we go. High fantasy. High fantasy. All right. Drop the stories then part. Thriller. Thriller, I think, comes under crime and mystery, right? Yeah, maybe. That's. What would The Walking Dead go under? Historical dramas. I think that kind of encompasses both drama and documentary. Just call it mystery, or the specific alternative, police procedural. Yeah, I guess there's like detective or police or crime stories. Period drama. I guess so, yeah, because they do tend to be long stories of the self period dramas. I mean, that kind of could come under just the drama angle, really, but I do like the specificity of it. Romantic stuff. I love Miraculous Ladybug, and loads of people would like it. So romantic. Romance. That still feels very broad. I'd like to get more specific with that if I can. Drama. Serial, I guess. Is that how you spell serial? Serial. Drama serial. 90% of TV stuff in existence. Yes, prequels. Biographies. I think you don't really get a series of biographies unless they're a murderer. They tend to be quite self-contained, right? Sitcoms. Sitcoms do tend to reset to the status quo. They don't really do a lot that like carries over. It doesn't really like. They don't often have arcs. I mean, like the 80s and 90s sitcoms never really bothered with an arc. They all tend to be very just self-contained and resume the status quo afterwards. Same with like most animated sitcoms. So thriller. So thriller. He's saying thriller. So thriller isn't a mystery. It's not a mystery. Well, I guess it's more that kind of whole. I imagine this. If it's like a policeman chasing a criminal, I can account that as thrilling, right? I don't know. I'm very vague on this one. Horrors. So there are like a lot of horror TV, like The House of Haunted Hill and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess horror. Horror. Again, these are very broad. I'd like to try and get more sort of specific TV genres if I can. Somebody didn't like season 2 of Hilda. That's fine. That's up to you. Mockumentaries. Not really. There aren't many. Mockumentaries kind of come under sitcom, right? Because you're thinking like The Office, right? Which does change and evolve and does appreciate. You are better off watching in order to better appreciate it. I guess mockumentaries would work. Yeah, I'm going to pair it with mockumentaries. It's just a style of sitcom. As to movie, no. Comedy so we can understand more of the jokes. So you're talking about more just general like sitcom, right? So like you establish running gags with characters and stuff, right? Um, would last episodes or series finales count? Not really. I mean, most shows come to an end of some kind. So, with The Office and Modern Family, you can still jump in at a point. You can, but I feel like you appreciate it more after you've watched them in order, right? So, especially with The Office, you appreciate the status of people's relationships and characters more when you've built up to it, right? I mean, that's plenty. I mean, this list is certainly plentiful. I might try and expand it further, but yeah, okay, cool. I think we'll take this. That's plenty so far. I might still comb through TV show styles and add and rename, especially this section. Like, this is still pretty vague. Thriller can be a standalone genre, but I need to find the correct term for it, especially for what to call crime shows properly. But anyway, so that's that. Thank you for your help with the brainstorming. But I do have another one that I appreciate help on. This one is going to be a tiny bit trickier. I'm going to just go ahead and Google something right here, just so I'm prepared. So the other thing is, how are we doing for time, by the way? We're coming up to an hour, so that's fine. That works out. The other thing is, a lot of the spoof movies I've watched, none of them have been directed by women. I've watched over 60 of them, and not a single one have been directed by women. And so, I need to add more women. Because I mean, the one of the most evident things of seeing all these spoof movies has been the male gaze. Like I said, the boobies, and the amount of nudity. Like I've seen in the Hungover games, there are characters who are literally named gratuitous nudity, and they are nude. And it's like, I mean, a lot of that I think is just down to the fact that it's a boys' club. And I am interested in trying to find more spoofs that are directed by women. This is all I have so far. Wayne's World isn't a spoof, but it might have spoof elements, so I might give that a revisit. Shrek is co-directed by a woman. And then Love Witch and CB4 are the only two seemingly out-and-out spoof movies that are directed by women. There are plenty of comedies directed by women, but it's the spoof that I'm after. Which ones are spoof comedies? So I would be thrilled to get any suggestions, but I'm going to go ahead and reopen my... So you can see I've already like Googled this and attempted to try and find comedy movies directed by women, which I can then in turn narrow down to be spoof movies. So what have we got? I'm just gonna continue to search. So I open this up to the floor. If anyone knows of a spoof movie, a comedy spoof movie directed by a woman, I will be interested to hear your suggestions. So the top 50 women directed movies of the last 10 years. Sure. There are a few spoof movies that were made by women because executives don't want to be told the male gaze is pretty shit. Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting. That's the feeling I'm getting, that women weren't invited, basically, or the women just want to tell original stories. They don't want to be beholden to having to parody something else. But I'm interested to see if there's any more, because I really want to make an effort to try and find more. So I mean, yeah, as I said, CB4, Love Witch, which are both like relatively unknowns, and Shrek is obviously the biggest known, but even that is a co-director. But that's why I'm after any female-directed spoofs. So there is not a spoof. Cloud Atlas, not a spoof. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Kung Fu Panda. It's not a spoof. But I mean, Kung Fu Panda 2 is brilliant. I love Kung Fu Panda. But for me, women-directed movies are kind of like Men Bad or life struggle movies. I guess. I mean, maybe see more movies. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. To me, I mean, I think a lot. I guess the more recent run of female-led movies have been more slice of life orientated, but not necessarily of the Men Bad variety. Will the shark appear in the video as he was most famous for shark spoofing movies before his retirement? Probably not. Hello, the face of time, by the way. Sorry. Probably not. I don't know where he would fit. I don't know where the shark would fit. Where is the shark? Hang on. I don't know where the shark would fit into the equation, but there he is. There we go. Everyone's happy. The shark is here. There we go. So Kung Fu Panda 2, not a spoof, so I don't think that counts. Oh yeah, we need to talk about Kevin. That's a definite spoof, right? A murderous psychopath. Yeah, there we go. So Tomboy, no. Frozen, no. Again, not a spoof. I mean, Frozen does do a lot that subverts the princess genre, especially like falling in love with a prince on the day you met him and stuff. Hey, insiders, there are 4 wolves. So I get Frozen isn't a spoof, but it does have subvertive elements. Oh, this one I want. Let me close that one. So it's Frozen, i.e. princess tropes. So not really a spoof, but it does at least address some of the tropes. Face of time, I've been meaning to check out the streams for a while and finally got around to it. I'm likely going to lurk, as I also do work, so I hope the stream goes well. Thank you, thank you, Face of Time. I don't know where Edge came from, but thank you. And also, hey, Dark Filming. I think those counts as roast instead of spoofs. Yeah, it's more like a call out, right? It's like it's addressing some of the historical princessy tropes in a fashion. So I'm not. You can call me Time. Thanks, Time. Yeah. So it's not a spoof, but it does at least address elements within it. So that could be worth a mention at least. Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman isn't a spoof, but does it subvert? It does a lot of like underestimating a woman in segments, right? I seem to remember the bits where I haven't seen it since the cinema, but I seem to remember there's bits like it's like while she's getting dressed up, like she's going through the shops and it's like, oh, a woman needs to wear this or something like that. I wouldn't count Frozen as it takes itself seriously. No, I mean, I'm not counting it as a spoof. I'm just saying that it at least raises some of the stereotypes of Disney princesses within itself. So it's not a spoof. But it does. I just want to maybe make a mention of it because it does address certain tropes. That's all. I've put it into my list to remind myself later, but I'm not counting it as a female-directed spoof movie. But I'm trying to remember if Wonder Woman ever does that at any point, whether they address any stereotypes in that. I don't think they really do. I mean, no. I mean, okay, is saying I don't think Wonder Woman's a spoof. It's not. It's absolutely not a spoof. I'm just trying to remember if it does subvert any like tropes, but I don't think it does. Shrek is 100% a spoof. There's no way people can convince me that the film takes itself seriously. I mean, it does like tell a serious plot. There's genuine peril. There's genuine emotion. You know, the characters fall apart. You know, they come together. They drift apart. They come back together again. So there's definitely like emotional stakes and stuff. So it is serious on that front, but it's arguably the most spoof out of a lot of the sort of I mean, I need to see the other thing. I mean, like, so CP4 is a Spinal Tap-esque mockumentary of a fictional Run DMC style band. And Love Witch is of a witch. It's a low budget piece, I believe, but it's like of a witch who attempts to have men fall in love with her, but it all goes horribly wrong. Which does play on tropes of it is meant to be a parody of horror movies. So those two do count, but Shrek is probably the most famous I've seen so far. The most famous female directed spoof, although it's not really a spoof, and it's also not really directed by a woman because she co-directed. So it's a lot of caveats to that one. But I want to know if there's just one out and out definitely yes, that's a spoof. There is the Johnny English trequel, but I'm not sure. It might be a spoof, but I'm not sure. Yes, well, Johnny English 1 is definitely a spoof. Were the sequels directed by women, or was one of them directed by women? Let's have a look. Johnny English. Let's have a look. So I want to see the film series. So Johnny English 1 is directed by Peter Howitt. Director 2 is Oliver Parker, and number 3 is David Kerr. Those sound like women. I mean, those sound like men. Not to presume, but I feel like they're men. So yeah. No. So I mean, I've counted the first film in my watchathon. I've not bothered with the other two. But I have rewatched the first one. I saw Love Witch on Shudder. Oh, it's on Shudder. Oh, okay. That gives me an excuse to get Shudder, because I've wanted to get Shudder because I want to see God, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. I retweeted it recently, where it's of a horrible demon monster who's controlled by a teenager who's just fucking around with him, and that seemed really funny. I've forgotten its name though, but I believe that's on Shudder, as well as the series about cursed movies. That sounds really interesting too. So there's a lot on Shudder. So I might have to get Shudder. So let's have a look here. Edge of 17, a teen comedy, a sensitive update of the John Hughes terrain that follows an awkward 17-year-old through anxiety-ridden school mishaps, friends and crushes. Critics praised the film for a nuanced portrait of adolescent girlhood that comes to life through a fresh, vibrant presentation of familiar coming-of-age material. That's realistic, funny, ache. Realistic, funny, ache? What does that mean? That's filled with realistic, funny, ache. Oh, that's filled with realistic, funny ache, as in ache, pain. Okay. I mean, yes. Okay, and yes, Shudder is for horror, but there are horror comedies. I'm not sure this counts. It's not really a spoof. I mean, it does seem like it's doing the similar sort of subversion-y thing, but I don't think I'm going to bother tracking it down for the sake of this. I mean, the reason I think I might at least mention Frozen is just because I have it. If I've got to really seek it out, I'm less inclined. What else have we got? Farrah, Sammy Blood, Simple Life, Breadwinner. I do want to watch Breadwinner, but it's not a spoof. I feel like these comedies can't be spoofs because they take themselves too seriously. No. Again, I know these are probably just comedies and they don't count as spoofs, but that's why I'm just closely considering each one. So don't worry, I'm not throwing in every single one that just so happens to be a comedy. Every comedy subverts expectations. That's comedy. But it's more if it has more to say about the genre, the movie tropes of it all, that kind of stuff. Marshall Dew, what's going on? I am looking for spoof movies directed by women. that's what's going on. So I'm searching movies directed by women and trying to narrow down if they are spoof movies. So Booksmart. I do want to watch Booksmart, but it's not a spoof. Buddy comedy. It's a crazy one. It follows the crazy one-night formula, but infuses the brash comedy with feminist bent that centers on the complicated relationship between two overachievers. So it does address tropes, but it's not a spoof. I don't know these films because I'm basic. Farewell. We'll get into the end. Ladybird. No. Little Women, which I know is meant to be really good, but it's not what I'm after right now. And Portrait of the Lady on Fire. So no, none of those. Booksmart is so good it's on Netflix. Oh, I will check it out. I do really want to watch it. The best female directed movies ever. Let's have a look at this. So like I feel like, as I said, like as I'm looking for spoof movies directed by women, and I feel like if they were really obvious, I would have found them by now. So the fact that I haven't suggests that it's true. Spoof movies generally don't have female directors. So, but I just want to exhaust that list before I come to that conclusion. That's what I'm trying to do here. So there's a film noir. Okay, so we've got a slightly more classical stuff here. Contemplating her own mortality. That doesn't sound like a spoof to me. A Holocaust movie. Oh, it's a dandified hoodlum finds himself in a concentration camp in this pitch black comedy. Okay, no. I don't think I will include that one. A director. No. This is a bit more of an interesting list, though. These don't seem like comedies. I mean, these are just films directed by women. The process now is to narrow down whether... Okay. So another thing about Love Witch on Shudder is there's a show on Shudder called The Last Drive-In discussing the movie they are showing and the production history they did for Love Witch for a Valentine's special. Okay. That's neat. So there's a kind of a documentary behind it. How is there a comedy about the Holocaust? It's not a comedy. I mean, I see. Yes, it is a dark comedy. I don't think they're making light of the Holocaust. I think it's more like using an extreme setting and setting a comedic character there. I think that's the idea. So, none of these. Lost in Translation. It's definitely not a spoof. Hurt Locker, not a spoof. Nope. Okay, I think we're now retreading familiar territory again. But I appreciate they at least showed me different stuff that hadn't appeared before. So, no. Drinky. All right. So I think I'll go for one more. I know it's a black comedy, but does Heathers count? Ooh, Heathers. It's not directed by a woman. But it is a black comedy. So it became the musical, which got remade, right? A TV series? Okay, so it became a TV series. The Still Death Bat. Thank you for the follow. Okay. So it became a TV show, but oh, it got cancelled. It got cancelled after 10 episodes. God damn. Right. So anyway, so no, Heathers. I mean, Heathers could broadly count as a potential spoof, but it's not directed by a woman. So, and the show was awful apparently. Are there any spoof TV shows? So, I mean, I know of at least definitely like Get Smart and Police Squad, as I showed before. I believe there is another show that's on Amazon Prime that is a spoof TV show. I can't remember what it's called now. I know I was told by a friend of mine. I'd have to find out what it was called again, because that would be nice to revisit. But I need another 100 movies, overlooked movies. All right, I feel like this is gonna be like the last call, right? Do you like Minecraft? Asked the Ipsy. Now, I've answered this question multiple times, but I will have to repeat the same answer, which is I played Minecraft once. I fell in a hole. I couldn't get out. I gave up. That was my one and only time I played Minecraft. All right, so okay, there's the list. Okay, so I know what I know what I can do. So to help me search it better, I'm going to search the word comedy. So proof. Sense of timelessness, pervasive exploration of the shifting ground of perception and illusion. Morehouse escalates comedy, skillfully bends tension, confounding expectations, skewing sentimentality. I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard. I mean, I need more information. I'm like Agnes right now. It's like, I have a theory, but I need more information. Romantic comedy stars Hugo Weaving. It doesn't seem like a spoof. I mean, it might do some subverting, sure, but it doesn't strike me as a spoof. So no, not proof. All right, next. Kissed. It disappeared in circulation. Adapting a first-person short story. Plays a necrophiliac. Oh, okay. And plays the mother who's deaf. During her childhood, creates an abiding fixation with the moment of death. Oh. Kiss also met with concern with the BBC, but in contrast to the film's ironic moral comedy, it exhibits sexual tenderness. No, I don't think that's a spoof. And I'm a Cheerleader. Is the latest this year? California became the latest state to ban the use of conversion therapy on gay minors. A decade, however, before that, director made her feature film with a prescient comedy about a peppy cheerleader forced to attend a summer camp that claims to cure gay teens. Was ahead of its time in its sympathetic but wildly irreverent take on sexual stereotypes, with a cast of cult favourites, out and proud but also defiantly silly. Ooh. It was not a success with critics, but perhaps because in the era of Boys Don't Cry, it was deemed inappropriate to sympathetically explore LGBT themes in mainstream movie with anything other than serious, furrowed brows. Okay, and this is the only other comedy in this list, apparently. But I'm a Cheerleader. Okay. Okay, this might count. I mean, it's not really spoofing anything, though. It's more... Yeah, it's more like an exploration of the social construct of gender roles. Okay, that sounds really interesting. That's it. Okay, this is an interesting one. So it's not a spoof, I don't think, but it does a lot that, like, yeah, it's a satirical romantic comedy. So it is a parody of sorts. Okay, I think I will. Jamie Babbitt, right? Yeah. Okay. I will include, but I'm a Cheerleader. So So the consensus seemed to be that critics at the time didn't like it, but it has garnered a cult following since. Okay. So WandaVision, yes, of course I watched. I've been loving and adoring WandaVision. I can't wait for I feel like the finale's got to be like an hour long minimum, right? I mean, the last episode was 45 minutes. This has to be an hour because there's so much to conclude. Oh, I can't wait. I think I found something, but I don't know if it's a spoof. Go on, in. Go ahead, Dark Filming. I'll be curious to hear it. But I will whilst just check spoof. Yeah, that chime means there is no spoof on this list. But I appreciate we may have found at least one more. But see what I mean? I feel like we're scratching the bottom of the barrel. I don't think there are. It's just not prevalent that there are female-directed spoof movies. Like Clueless, yeah, Clueless is great. But it's not. It's a great comedy. It's effectively a. I guess it's a parody, but not really of a Shakespeare play, right? It's Jane Austen's Emma, so not Shakespeare. I knew it was some classical piece, but it's a remake of a classical piece, but set in a modern day setting. But it's not a spoof. But would it count? I mean, I feel like it might be a worthy watch. I mean, just because. Getting bitch, we're going shopping, but it's loosely based on this. It's kind of like it's taking pre-existing materials and then subverting it in some way. So it's taking the pre-existing material of Emma and subverting it by setting it in modern day Beverly Hills. So I think Clueless would count. Right? Clueless. But where was I anyway? So you're right. Was it directed? I feel like it was directed by a woman. Oh, Thomas Ashwood. Thank you for the host. Yes, it is directed by a woman, Amy Heckerling. Let me just make sure I identify with she. They do. So yeah, it's not a spoof. No, well, it's as I said, it's a spoof. If we're drawing like a fine line, it could be potentially considered a spoof because it's taking pre-existing material and subverting it in some way. So it's taking the material of Emma and subverting it as a modern day take on it. So it's effectively a spoof, but I don't think I don't think it counts as a proper full-on spoof movie at all. No, but I feel like it is. I think it is the very least potentially a parody or some kind of subversion. I don't know. I think I might still revisit the film regardless. I don't think it counts as a spoof, but I think it might be a worthy mention regardless. Is this going to be the next video? I'm so excited. It is. The next video, which will be out somehow this month. God fucking knows, because it's such a beast of a video. But it will. I feel like it is going to be. It's going to be a big video, and I will fight hell or high water to get out this month. So, just 4 women-directed films were included in the BBC's Greatest Comedies. So, what were those 4? So we've got A New Leaf, Daisies, Tony Erdmann, and Clueless. Okay. So let's look at A New Leaf. So it's a black comedy based on a short story. The film was a success. What's it about? It doesn't seem to be a spoof. It's a playboy run his inheritance. Decides only viable option is marry into wealth, and it must fulfill it, otherwise must forfeit the property. So it's not a spoof, but it does seem to be a fun film. So how long do you expect it to be? The video, probably about an hour at least. Also, the movie I was talking about is called Prevenge. Oh wait, sorry. Let me scroll back up. So I found a spoof movie. I'm not sure. Not directed by a woman. I just love the title. Like 10 Reasons I Love You, or whatever it's called. My least favorite movie is the Steven Universe movie. Okay, Absolute Human. That's up to you as well. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but you could dislike it too. That's fine. So Prevenge. What's this? So it's comedy slasher. The plot follows a pregnant widow who's convinced her fetus is compelling her to embark on a killing spree as a revenge for the death of her husband. Okay. Right. So it's a kind of a dark comedy. It's not really a parody. It's not a spoof or a parody. I mean, it probably in some degree spoofs the slasher genre with a subverted take on it. But I don't think it counts as a spoof. But thank you for the suggestion. Anyway, so what's the other one? So we had, and I'm probably going to call it after this, to be honest. So Daisies. So we got Daisies. Comedy drama, surrealist. Surrealism is a good sign. Generally regarded as a milestone for Czechoslovak New Wave movement. Young girls who engage in strange pranks. Originally planned as a satire of bourgeois decadence, the movie targets those attached to rules and was referred to by Chitilova as a necrologue about the negative way of life. A necrologue? Oh, it's an obituary. Okay. Right. So, a comedy surrealism. A Czechoslovakian movie. Throughout the film, the two muse about youth, happiness, existence, and the state of being spoiled. The film has very little in the way of plot structure, and the scenes proceed from one to the next chaotically and frequently switching from black and white colour and filtered colour footage. Many scenes include slapstick, and characters spend a significant amount of time amount of the film eating or playing with food. Oh, okay then. This does sound weird. But it's not a spoof, I don't think. I don't think it counts as a spoof, but it's fun to imagine. So Tony Erdmann kept coming up. So what's Tony Erdmann? I'd seen it a few times. Let me just make sure. So it's a German-Austrian comedy drama. A divorced music teacher with a passion for pranks. Upon the death of the dog, decides to reconnect to the daughter who is pursuing a career in business. And consumed by work, there's little time for family. So, no, not really. It is just probably a feel-good comedy, but it's not a spoof. You're right. Okay. Oh wait. So do they come up with some suggestions here? Big. I love Big. Big's a great film. It's absolutely not a spoof. Although does it address tropes? Not really. I don't think it does that either. So okay. It would have also been great to see Often Ignored Stories. Something's Got to Give. Let's have a look. Not a spoof. It's a rom-com, but not a spoof. Adult Skills. I'm just going to comb through these last examples and see if... Oh, it's Jodie Whittaker. So, the story is of a 29-year-old who's moved into her mum's shed and has refused to move out after the death of her twin brother. Okay. I mean, that sounds like a fun film to see anyway, but it is not a spoof, but adult life skills. That's an interesting one. It's a short film. No, it's not. It's an hour and a half. Or maybe it's based on a short. I don't know. Okay, well, not that one, but I'm curious about it. Obvious Child. So it's an American rom-com. Stories of Donna, a stand-up comedian, who has a drunken one-night stand with a man. After breaking up with her boyfriend, she subsequently finds out she's pregnant and decides to have an abortion. Okay. Hope to remove the stigma surrounding abortion. So it's kind of a satirical take on the attitudes and state of abortion, I guess. But no. Highlights its realism and humor. So it is satirical, but it's not really spoof. Bend It Like Beckham. It's not a spoof. It's a kind of a football movie, but it's not a spoof. No. All right. Oh, people are talking about Pixar movies right now. What have we got going on here? Which is longer? Cars 2 or Incredibles 2? I don't know which one is longer. Both are bad sequels. I actually quite like. I quite like Incredibles 2. I mean, speaking as a dad, I really thoroughly enjoyed the Jack sequences. Like, I hardcore relate to Bob trying to put Jack to bed. I think a few episodes of Sherlock were directed by women, and that's arguably a spoof. Not really. I'm trying to keep away from TV. I mean, I am going to mention a couple of TV. I'm going to mention Get Smart and Pig Squad, but because it's in context of like subsequent movies. So I'm not going to count Sherlock, and I also debate whether Sherlock is a spoof anyway. I quite like all the Pixar sequels. Wreck-It Ralph 2 isn't a sequel. Also, I don't like Wreck-It Ralph 2. I really don't like it. Cars 2 is my most hated film. But Pixar is my favorite film company. Finding Dory, because the title doesn't indicate it's a sequel. I mean, yes, Finding Dory is a sequel. And I also don't like that one either. I quite liked Monsters University. Like Toy Story 2, 3, and 4. What are the only other ones that got sequels? I can't remember now. Yeah. Any thoughts on Luca? Luca looks good. I like the look. I like the Luca of Luca. Of two young boys trying to hide the fact that they're gay. I mean, fish people. I mean, that's undoubtedly the subtext of the movie, right? It's about these kids trying to hide who they really are in front of society, right? I'm definitely not the first person to point out that there's definite connotations there. Well, if not gay, but like on the LGBT. I'm pretty sure it's got to be a subtext for that, right? Timeline wise, University is a prequel. Well, all right then. All right, if you want to get technical, it's a prequel, but it's a follow up to Inc. And I liked University. I quite like Monsters University. I especially like the cabin in the woods segment. I thought that was that was a nice, unexpected, and exciting beat for the film. I feel like if the film had not included that and had something else happen instead, it would be lesser for it. That was a nice surprise. I enjoyed it. Okay, so that I'm gonna call it there. I think I have combed through as much and considered as much as I can on the women directed movies for spoofs. I'm not going to as we've established, this if we're trying to be strict about spoofs, these are scraping the barrel. But there just doesn't seem to be many spoof movies. There are plenty of like that have subverted a genre in some way, but they don't count as us. I don't count them as a spoof propers. So okay, well that I've at least increased my list a bit, and I appreciate the research and also the help from you guys in the chatteroo there. So anyway, I have a lot more to do, but I have a great deal of material to be able to crack on working. So thank you very much for all your help there. I really, really appreciate that. Right then. So I think I'm going to wrap this up now. So unless anyone else has any like questions or anything they want to get in here before I close up for the day. As we established, men are more likely to make stupid movies. Yeah, that's true. Not just movies. Just stupid anything, really. But men bad. It's not men bad. It's not you're not bad. It's just obviously a, you know, it's a societal thing, right? It's the state of Hollywood. It's the fact that like either women have not been invited to or have been ostracized from being able to make the same sort of movies as men has led to a lot of movies being so male gazy that it becomes, especially when I've watched all of them. Well, not all of them. That's I haven't watched all of them, but when I've watched so many of them, chronologically and seeing how the genre changes and evolved, it becomes incredibly apparent how little influence women have had on the genre. And I think as evident by that, it's because there hasn't been spoof movies directed by women. Certainly none that have like broken the barrier. And so I think it's just are we still on men bad? Dude, legit, please watch more movies. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's not men bad. It's not about men bad. It's about yeah, just the state of Hollywood and the fact that women weren't invited to be able to make the same sort of movies. So anyway, I think that's it. Yeah, I think we're done. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we're talking about poops now. So thoughts on the potato head gender thing? I'm incredibly neutral on. They're just changing the brand name to Potato Head. They're still selling Mr. and Mrs. They're still there. They're just changing the logo. They're dropping the Mr. from the logo. It's still a Mr. Potato Head, so it's fine. It's a complete non-story that became a story because people wanted to get mad about something. So it's so fine. It's okay, everyone. Even if they had dropped the Mr., it's a fucking potato. It's so okay. Anyway, any goddamn way. I'm going to jump off now. So thank you very much for joining me. And I'm going to head off now. I don't think there's anyone to raid. So anyway, that's it. I'm off. So thank you very much, everyone. And I will see you next time. Alrighty? Bye-bye.